YouTube. Son is so disrespectful. It's just Brandy, and let's talk the Real Housewives of Atlanta season finale. So I think this is what, season 11, I think, maybe, of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So this was the finale. I think this was the most like boring, trying to make something out of nothing type of finale. Like, they really wanted to end on some type of cliffhanger drama, you know, how will we resolve this situation? And out of all of the things that they could come up with, it's a situation between Nene and Cynthia that involves Kenya Moore. Now, Kenya Moore is no longer a housewife, but rumor has it that Kenya is going to be coming back to Atlanta next season. So this situation kind of opens the door for Kenya Moore to come back to the Housewives franchise and it be highly anticipated, so that everybody is tuning in. Oh my gosh, she's back. And her and Nene, you know, like Nene said, prior to Kenya's baby shower, they had no issues. Everything was cool. That's why when Kenya had her baby shower, she was surprised that she was not invited, which is what kind of sparked the whole situation. But let's start at the beginning of the episode. We're coming off of the OLG situation where Eva, you know, friend has outed that she's having financial issues. They have every excuse under the sun about this, that, and whatever, about, you know, financial issues. And then she makes a comment to her new husband about how now that they're married, he can put her on the bank accounts. And he's like, I'm broke. Like, I don't, you know, I guess they were trying to make light of the situation. But when you're on a show that is supposed to be people living in abundance, people living lavishly, you know, people living the extremes, people living the American dream, people who are the haves and not the have-nots, it really does not bode well when you are supposed to have financial issues, when you supposed to don't have no money, because then everybody look at you like, you know, you're a fake and you're a fraud. We've seen multiple housewives of Atlanta have these issues. We've seen some of the housewives from Potomac have these issues. You never hear about the white housewives having financial issues, which I'm sure that you do. People who tend to live in excess tend to live beyond their means because they're always trying to impress. And then once you get on TV, now you have this image and this lifestyle to maintain. Remember Lisa Wu, she was married to Ed, and they had, you know, it was like, oh, we have this house and Ed had this house, and then comes out they don't have any money, they're scamming people, she ain't really selling no real estate. Oh, you know, she ends up being off the show. We had Sheree Whitfield. First season, she's in this house. You know, at the time, I think she was still married to Bob. She was trying to divorce him, and it felt like she was going to get a large settlement. She had bought a car on the show. She got, her house got foreclosed. Her car got repossessed. You know, it's just so sad because these people could probably take the money that they have and live in a middle class or upper middle class lifestyle and be comfortable. But instead, you know, they want to live high on the hog and they can't afford it. Now, we've known Eva to be around for a very long time from America's Next Top Model, but I haven't known her to model. After she kind of switched over and started doing the acting thing, I feel like she kind of got away from the modeling thing. Now, she's only 5'7", so she's not super tall, so she was never going to be the next runway model. Did she probably do a little runway? Maybe. But you know, when you win, you get the contract. I think at that time it was like with CoverGirl. You know, she used modeling, I feel like, to open the door, but she felt like she wanted to go into acting, but she wasn't out there aggressively really like hustling like you see some people. Every little part she could get, every little thing, trying to get herself really out there. I feel like she was kind of just, you know, just a little here, a little there. So financially, I could see where she might be struggling. I mean, now she's living in Atlanta versus California, which is where she's from. I feel like when you're from California, you know, you have a little bit better grasp on the money, because it's very expensive to live in California versus, you know, when you are from somewhere else and you move to California. I think it could be a little bit of a stark contrast from kind of the rest of the world. Unless you're from New York, then I think it would be similar. But LA is very expensive. In Atlanta, your money goes a lot farther. It's a lot less expensive to live there. So she should be doing a little bit better. But you see this with a lot of people too, with the money, where they rent. They don't buy. You're throwing your money away when you're paying $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 a month. Even if you're paying $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 to rent somebody else's home. At the end of the day, nobody's going to rent you a house that they're not making a profit on, or they're not at least breaking even on. They're not going to rent you a house for less than they're paying for it. So if you're paying that, you could be paying that same amount in mortgage and probably less. So what sense does it make for you to continue to pay somebody else's mortgage? You could say, oh, maintenance and all of that. You think they're paying for that for free? That's included. When they're charging you that, I'm sure your rent is paying for all of that. So it just does not make sense for people to constantly be renting. And the fact that you're renting something says that you can't afford the home. A lot of them in Atlanta, that's what they used to do, rent. It wasn't until Candy came around, where she purchased her home. Cynthia came around and they had purchased a home, and they gave her so much crap because of the neighborhood that she lived in, because it was a reclaimed neighborhood that they were redoing. So anyway, so Eva, of course, denies that she's having financial issues. She's trying to laugh it off and say that it's just a friend that is bitter, you know, trying to cause issues. Now, this is supposed to be her friend of 20 years. A friend of 20 years will get mad at you, but they're not going to go to the press and leak information. So it has to be way deeper than one altercation at a wedding for somebody to go to this level of, you know, what she's doing. Like she's really doing the most. So it has to be way more than just what happened on one day, because everybody could say, oh, it's your wedding, you're stressed, you know, or what. It has to be more than just that situation. So so Portia decides to have her gender reveal party. It was supposed to be this big carnival situation, and just like with anybody else, you know, you plan for things and things don't always turn out the way that you want. And it was nice to see that even though you have all this money and you had all these grandiose plans, it fell through. So, you know, you see, money doesn't mean everything. Money doesn't mean that you're going to have the best party and you're going to have the grandest this and that, because she had, you know, an unlimited budget according to, you know, what they said on the scene, but they couldn't pull it off. So, you know, she was very upset, which anybody would be if you're inviting all of these people and you're supposed to have this, and you know, you have this image of being of a certain caliber, living a certain lifestyle. When people get there, they see tables and, you know, nothing there. It's very lackluster, and it's supposed to be so grandiose. So it's not that, it's almost like you lost focus of what you're there for. You're there to reveal. I don't understand the purpose of this whole gender reveal thing. Like, just tell people what it is. Like, another way to spend money. Now you gotta have a gender reveal and a baby shower. Like, stop playing. So anyway, she got over it. Everybody calmed her down and she got over it. And when they revealed the sex of the baby, we find out that it is a girl. Of course, Portia did have the baby last week. Pilar, that's the baby's name. Pilar Janae, I think, McKinley. So I thought that the season finale was going to be Portia's gender reveal because she had been building up for that. But then we found out that Cynthia was approached by Seagram's and to do a signature drink, and she worked with them and came up with a peach Bellini. So I guess Seagram's is like Seagram's gin. Seagram's has a lot of like pre-mixed type of stuff that you can get at the grocery store. So usually it's a lower alcoholic content. I don't want pre-mixed. I don't want pre-mixed drinks. I want to make my own. So she has this peach Bellini. So I'm not sure if it's like a malt. Like, when I think Seagram's and stuff, it just makes me think of like a malt liquor type of, I don't know what it is. It's in a bottle like a Smirnoff or a beer or whatever. It's in a glass bottle. So like I said, it gives me like malt liquor vibes. I mean, I've never had it, but just the bottle, that's not something that I would reach for, regardless of who's endorsing it. They didn't really show the bottle, so I don't know if it has her name on it or if she's just going to be in the ads or what. I haven't seen any press or anything for this particular item. I don't know what's going on with that. But so Cynthia's having this party to launch her peach Bellini drink that she has in partnership with Seagram's, and of course she has invited all the ladies. So, you know, every time there's a finale, there's always a finale party. So regardless of somebody's house, somebody's event, there's always a finale party. So this is it. So of course all the ladies are required to attend per their contract. You have to show up for the finale. So you've got Tanya, which, you know, I don't know if she's a housewife or not. She's been on multiple episodes, but they never added her to the intro, so I'm not sure. I don't understand. Will she be at the finale or like as a special guest, like how they brought Danielle Staub? I don't know, because she was on dang near every episode. So Tanya's there. Why can't I think of Ron Bilbo, his wife, Shamari. Shamari is there. Portia is there. Nene shows up with Greg. Eva's there with her husband. Okay, so, and Mike Hill is there. Mike Hill makes a comment to Cynthia about how next year he want to get married or whatever. So all the girls are sitting around. Nene is talking to Cynthia. Everything is cool. You know, this is the first time that anybody has really seen Greg be out, I guess, since like they told everybody that he had cancer and he had all these procedures. So, you know, everybody's happy to see Greg. So as the party continues, Candy shows up, and Candy has in tow with her Kenya. Now, prior to, Kenya is very pregnant at this point. She's very pregnant. She's like, what's her name? Portia's friend, that's Candy's friend, that's also pregnant. Shamika? Something like that. Something like the one that's married to the African. She's there, and she's saying that she's due in 1 month. And she made a comment about how her and Kenya were about the same as far as progress in their pregnancy. So when she brought up Kenya's name, Nene was like, you know, making little comments or whatever, little snarky comments. So we find out that that Kenya's baby shower was just like the week prior or something like that, and that Nene wasn't invited. Portia was there, Cynthia was there, Candy was there, but that Nene was not invited. So then we find out that there's some sort of social media beef where they was going back and forth. We don't know if it stems from where, you know how they do like F, Marry, Kill or something like that. They did something similar about who would you, asking Kenya, like, who would you this, who would you that, who would you delete? She deleted Nene, but I don't think that's a reason for somebody to be mad. So according to Nene, there's been a lot of stuff that Kenya has been saying about her on social media. So, you know, she's not fooling with Kenya. She's like, she's very dangerous. So, just the mention of Kenya's name kind of put her in a sour mood, and then Kenya shows up with Candy, and of course she's loud and just like whatever, you know, she's trying to steal the spotlight. She ain't been on TV for a whole season, she ain't been filming, so of course she's mic'd up. She's gonna come try to steal, she's trying to steal whatever episode she on, she's trying to steal the show. So and then he's like, oh, you look so nice, you know, just being fake and phony and whatever, making little comments, but you know, giving compliments but not really meaning them. You know, they're like underhand, backhanded comments. So Nene says that as soon as Kenya gets there, Cynthia basically switches up, which that's the thing. As an adult, I don't believe that you have to pick sides. You should not have to pick friend groups. You can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with, but don't switch up. Don't get around your one friend and be talking about me and it's all fun and you let them, you know, talk about me, and then don't get around me and do vice versa. Or, you know what I'm saying? Be neutral. You know, when you that friend, y'all should have enough going on that I shouldn't be a topic of conversation. And when you with me, we should have enough going on that they're not a topic of conversation. You know what I'm saying? So, according to Nene, Cynthia's not the same friend. When she's around Kenya, she feels like she does not stand for her. She does not take up for her. If Kenya say something, she don't shut it down. But if she's around Nene and they bring up something about Kenya, she shuts it down, or she don't want to be a part of it. Like, she voices her concern. She makes it known that she, you know, doesn't want to be a part of that or whatever. So, of course, this makes Cynthia mad. She's like, you know, at the end of the day, this is my event. They always be talking about that. This is my event. You know, this is her event. She feels like if they're both her friends, she should be able to invite them and they should be able to coexist in the same room and, you know, just be there to support her. So Nene gets mad and she decides she's going to leave because she doesn't want to be there around Kenya. Cynthia does like a little, you know, thanks for coming, and Kenya comes and takes the microphone and is like, oh my goodness. But she did thank, she was like, oh, I see Kenya more. She didn't say Nene, she said different people's names. And so then she tried to call Greg up there, and Nene was like, don't move, Greg, you ain't going nowhere. So it was just so petty. So after the party, they end up meeting up and they have a taped conversation where Candy was mic'd up. And Cynthia was like, well, let's get our story together about the whole Kenya thing. Like, basically, you need to tell Nene that I didn't know nothing about it, so she won't be mad at me. Bravo is so messy because, you know, Bravo couldn't wait to get that audio on the screen. So when they had to meet up, and she was like, I don't know nothing. And we like, girl, they done already got you on tape saying that you knew. So it's a mess. They did show some snippets for the upcoming reunion, and this is still going to be an issue. You know, Cynthia's feelings on the matter at, you know, while during the season was, me and Nene have been through worse things, and there's, you know, we'll be able to get through this. But as we see the reunion, this has turned into something else. And, you know, Nene and Cynthia have fallen out several times at this point. And I'll say this, you know, friends, as far as friendships go, you know, you will fall in and out with your friends. You can get mad at your friends for little stuff, but major blow ups where you start hitting below the belt and, you know, just getting real petty with it, your friendship can only survive so many of those types of instances where, you know, I'm only gonna be so many bitches, you only gonna, you know, I can only forgive you for so much, where I don't forget. And then it there are some things that you can't go back from, you can't forget. And they are getting to the point where they have had so many blow-ups that they may not be able to recover. They just may not be able to be friends. They can probably still be cool, but they're not going to be able to be the friends that they were, the sister type of relationship. People are always throwing around the sister crap. The sister relationship that they allege that they had, they're not going to be able to have that, because it's just been too many things. Also, friends, I can't have a whole list of rules when I'm trying to be your friend. Just like Cynthia had the friend contract. I'm not under contract. You're not going to tell me, if you want to be my friend, you got to do this, and this. No. If I'm going to be your friend, I'm going to be me. And if being me is cool, then we can be friends. If being me is not, then I'm not the friend for you. Because you're not going to make me and mold me into the person that you want me to be for you. That's not how friendship works. It's not that serious. You're not my spouse. You're my friend. So, reason, season, lifetime. Maybe the season of Nene and Cynthia is over. Maybe the reason for them being friends, you know, is over. But now you're in a work situation, and Nene brought you on. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. So that is, you know, the whole drama going into the reunion. Of course, as everybody watches back, they get mad all over again. So it seems like Eva's mad at everybody. When the season ended, it seemed like everything was cool. But, you know, people see the little comments and the little jokes and everything that everybody makes, and they get mad all over again. So I'll see you next week for the first episode of the reunion. Until then.